Hey there, folks. So, last episode, after a very painful process of going through and reading files in a directory, we ended up with this little section here, which is adding a widget that doesn't exist yet to our load game section in our blueprint, or our widget blueprint for the main menu. There is a couple of other things we need to include in here, though. So we have our load game menu, which is a stack panel. I'm actually going to go another stack panel here. Add that in at the bottom. Our load game, we need to change its stack orientation to vertical. Stack panel at the bottom, we do need to add two buttons. Button and button. We're going to set that to, nope, that fill, these are the ones we want to be fill. Text, rich text, add these to both buttons, and then name our buttons. So load game back button, load game load button. And I named the text that, not the button. Load game load button. So this one's easy. We're just going to throw back in that text block. What is... Oh, I'm using rich text, not text. My bad. Text block, text block. So we want this one to be back, and this one to be load. And we want to add some padding to these. I'm going to add a padding of 3. Yeah, 3 works. Okay, so on the load game back button, I'm just going to scroll down, and we've already got this here. And just copy these 4 items, copy and paste. We want our primary menu to be visible, and we want our load game menu to be hidden. That one's easy enough. Now we want to add another string here, actually. I'm going to name this one, and sorry, not a string array, just a single string. Save game to load. And this is going to have a default value once I've compiled of none. Actually, no, we need to give that something that's got some control character to it. Exclamation none. Back here, I'm just going to click the load game button, scroll down. I know I could do it in the designer, but brain went this route first. On click, if save game to load equals to equal, no, equal exactly string, equal case insensitive, equal exactly. And we want to grab our exclamation none. Branch. So if it is this, we don't want it to do anything. So this is a dead pin. I'm just going to have a reroute. Comment, do nothing. If you have a blueprint specifically that has a path like this, where there is one particular branch of or path off a branch, I should say, that doesn't, I would recommend adding this in. Again, as I mentioned in the past, if you have another developer working with you, a UI person, however it be, excuse me, they need to know, or it's good to leave these sort of like little notes saying it's not doing anything on purpose. And it's not like, oh, I forgot to hook this up. From here, reroute, comment set game instance save game, save name, and load. So we don't actually have this functionality in, but I want to try and get this done as much as possible within here. Now, go back to our load game widget. What I'm going to add here actually is a reference to the main HUD. Object reference parent. We're going to expose on spawn and instance editable because we want this widget to be able to call back to the parent easily. And that's what this is for. So I'm going to go up here into our update load game buttons. Right click. Now with that we added a new input, but it's not here. If you right click, refresh node, it'll add that in. Just add a reference to self for that. Just for consistency, I'm actually going to drag off that complete and add a return node. And again, this is just for the visual acuity of anyone else looking at it who didn't design this. They can see, okay, we're coming in here, we're clearing it out, we're adding any new children we need to, and then we're saying we're done. So now with our load game button widget, we want an overlay. Actually, no, yeah, we can use an overlay as our basic one here. Overlays work in the way that they are added one on top of the other in the order that they're placed. So what I'm going to be doing here is a border brush, a text brush, and then a button. Now, this is going to seem a little weird. Actually, I'm going to set all of these to fill, fill, fill. But there's a reason for that. So the button, tint, outline. Yeah, so alpha is 0 on that. Copy. Paste. Paste. I believe this is going to make it invisible. If not, I can just color and opacity. Change it to 0. Background color alpha 0. No, that didn't do it. What did I miss? Oh well, I'm just going to go visible. So not visible but occupies layout, obviously not hit testable, collapsed, obviously not hit testable, not hit testable, so children, why? Oh no, that's the border brush I bet I'm seeing behind there. Yeah, I'm seeing the border brush. So the border brush you want to have, say, I'm going to go for a gray tone. Go for a darker gray. And the reason for this, it's background, file name, select button. Now, right now we're not adding delete logic. That's something, just because the last episode took so long, that's something I'm going to delay and push through into a later episode. This just gets our basic setup here. So compile and save that. Now in our graph, as before, we want to call from our construction. So that's once everything's been provided, like these variables are in there. So, and actually we need to background is variable, file name is variable, select button is automatically a variable. So file name, grab that, set text, grab the save game name and just pass that in. Let it change itself to the two text string. That's fine there. Compile and save. And then we're going to add in 2 custom events. Custom event 1 is going to be, actually no, 1 custom event and then functionality for the button. Sorry. Clear selection. And then select button, we are going to do on click. So this is the reason why we want the background to be a variable. So get a reference to that. We select our background. Brush color is what we are working with. Actually, I'm going to also copy you and paste you there just so. No, we're going to leave the tint. It's the brush color we want to affect. So set brush color. We're going to copy this value. No. Okay. So I'm going to go back here, click on that, and I'm going to hex linear. Okay. Go in here, brush color, hex linear, paste, enter. Brings us that up. So all we're doing there is we're changing the background color. Now we want to do a similar thing here, and this is going to be however you want to indicate your color for selection. You can go lighter, you can go darker. I'm going to go darker, and actually I'm going to change these so they're a little lighter. Grab that hex linear and put back the default color on these. There we go. Okay, but there's one other thing we need to do. So we need to grab our parent. And we need to add a custom event to our parent. Custom event. Set selected save game. And it needs an input of ftext. Save game name, and it is of type ftext or text. Sorry, I hate how in the UI it doesn't let you do that. No, string. What am I saying? String. Okay, so here, set save. No, what do we call that? Set selected save. Set selected save game. And this is why we have the save game name exposed. So that's almost 100% done with this. Actually, that's the widget itself is done. However, we do need to do a couple other things here. So save game to load is going to equal this. Actually, my plan here, we need to add one more thing here. Calling button. And that is a widget load game button object reference. Compile and save, go over here. Self. And then we're going to grab our load game scroll area, child, get all children, and a for loop. For each loop, quick comparison. So we're going to go equal equal to the calling button. We're going to add a branch. And if it's not equal to, well, so we don't care about this, reroute. So add the comment, do nothing. If it isn't, and what do we call that one? Clear selection. Clear selection. What? Oh, and then we need to cast to W load game button. We're going to convert this to a pure cast because we know these are all that. So, clear selection. So what we're doing here is the button is telling us set the save game to this name. We're going to go through all of our children, and we're going to say, okay. And the reason for this, actually, no. That is too much effort. Promote to variable here quickly. Last selected save button. So, make this a little easier. Valid. If that button is valid, because it's going to start off the very first time it's a null pointer, we're going to clear selection. And then we are going to set it to the one that we just called from. Yeah, that's a lot more efficient. We're not doing a for loop. And this will also work if we have, once we add delete logic. Okay. I'm just trying to think what else we can do. I'm quickly going to actually just add in some additional save games, just so we have more. Game 3. Some more save game names for when we actually test this. So now, as I mentioned, we are missing something though. We're missing the ability to tell the game instance. Compile and save that. This is the basics of the button. It looks ugly as sin. That is something that will get worked on potentially later on, but as I mentioned before, UI is not my strong suit. So we do need to make some changes to our game instance though. So we need to add a function in here in our public section, because you can see we have add actor, get actor, call the save function, call the load function, a load level function, but we don't have anything to say set the save name. So what we're going to do here, U function blueprint callable void set save game name, and that is going to take a f string const f string reference save name. I'm going to create that quickly, and we have save game name, which is the default one. We'll save name. Simple as that. So I'm going to go back to our editor here. I'm going to move this out of the way quickly, and I'm going to do a live compile, just because I want to get this blueprint logic dealt with. Now there is going to be, as is, if you were to try to run this straight away, there's going to be some quirks, but going forward shouldn't be too bad. And to explain, those quirks are, these save games are currently all using this third-person map template that came with the project to start with, whereas within the actual process with the main menu, it's not an included level. So well, this is surprisingly taking longer than I expected. So I'm going to pause things here, folks, and I will be back as soon as this live compile is done. All right, so that live code finished. Let's just bring this back up here. Yeah. Do I have a... We're calling this stuff in here, actually. Game instance. Quick game. Yeah. So with that, we're actually having quite a few cases where we are calling to a game instance. So I'm going to promote to variable our game instance. because we're using that enough. Connect that there, connect that there. Okay, so our game instance, I'm going to get rid of you. I'm going to change you to a valid. If that's valid, we're going to go this way. If it's not valid, we're going to go that way. Save. Oh, let's add that. Any other game instance? The initial one, which we set. Yep, that's that one. So it's going to be down here. And what do we call that function we just added? Set save game name. Yep. Really, just set save game name. And that is, as we have here, save game to load. I'm actually going to... No, that's messy. I don't want to do that. I sort of dislike the way the pins all work. It gets really complicated at times. You can get overly complicated stuff. So now we've got that one there. We only need to address this function. Blueprint callable dev load game. So we have that in there. This is our initial just debugging. So grab you. Dev load game. Pass that through there. So, and just to explain, the reason why we have this here is if it's set to none, we know this hasn't executed yet. And actually what we can do here, thinking about it, save game to load. Copy that. So this is if we click the back button, we want to actually reset that back to none. Because then that saves you, like, hit the back button, go to the load, hit the load game button, and then just click load. You're going to load whatever was the previously selected one, where this resets that. So I'm trying to think, is there anything else we need to do here? No. So this is where we need to address some more code changes in our game instance. First of all, look at dev load game. That just calls load game. So if we go up to load game call with invalid save game name. Okay, if that doesn't exist, problem there. Saveable actors empty. We're clearing everything out. If it was spawned, yeah, spawning it in if it was spawned, applying all the save game data. There. We're not actually loading a level. And that's what we need to tweak. So we do have the currently loaded level variable. I'm going to just do a quick find all in the current document. We're not actually doing anything with that. So we need to add another function in here. U function. Oh, I thought I hit caps there, but obviously not. U function blueprint callable. Man, my spelling just sucks today. Function, blueprint callable, void set current level, const. It's an F string, I believe, current level. No, F name. F name pointer level. And we're going to need to add this to our save game as well. Currently loaded level equals level. We're Where's our save game? We have that in there. Okay. Why did I not? Added it but never set it up. Okay, so go back to our game instance. Save game name, save names, level. Okay, so what we need to do there is, first of all, change that in our save game logic. Save, set save game name, dev save game. What are we calling there? If it's null pointer, create slot. Okay, so it's in here. We need to get that set up. So save game object currently set currently loaded level, currently loaded level. So that one's easy enough. And then in our load logic, load game, currently loaded level equals save game object get currently loaded level, get current level. And then we want load level implementation currently loaded level. So actually, no, I want to change this slightly. Fname level to load. If, and this is where I was talking about before, level to load is equal to currently loaded level. So anyways, when we were doing this initial load game logic, I had mentioned how we were going to have some different behaviors here. And that's what this is referencing. So you have two options. You could just forcibly reload the level, or you can clear everything out and reset everything. No, I'm just going to go straight into that. I don't need to. Because I was just sitting there clearing everything out and resetting everything, though in theory should be more resource efficient because you're not having to reload a ton of assets. If there's any assets that are set at run, like through the editor, you added them in and they're no longer present in the world, they're not going to come back. So we're going to call this load level implementation and reload the level. It's inefficient, but it also is going to just ensure everything is loaded. This should, as a result, should almost always have nothing. So might not be valid to leave this in, but I'm going to for now. But anyways, so with that then, if we're calling the load game, that I believe is absolutely everything we need. So I'm just going to hop back into the editor. We're going to close things out here, move that out of the way. I'm going to save all. Now, as I mentioned, our save games are invalid. So actually, I don't know why I created all those, but what we're going to do quickly is we're going to just test out our population of the menu, and then we'll test out the load with a new setup. So we are going to our persistent level, clicking play. It should open up the main menu. Okay, we're going to click load game. And as you can see here, default save, game 1, game 2, game 3. Select that. Things are changing, which is what you want. And if we hit load, well, it's not doing anything. So let's take a look at why that is happening. UI, main menu, main menu. Go to our graph, load game. we're not doing anything. That is why. And I'll click load game, but oh no, it's because it's this one here. I'm looking at the wrong one. That's the switching to it. So this is the one we want. Move that over, come back in here, click load, pull this over. I know why. It's got the dot save. I'm sitting there thinking, why is that? So what we want here, get all save game names, go to, no, not declaration, definition. So file name dot mid 0 to file name dot len -4. -1, -2, -3. Yeah. Okay, so that is more than likely what the cause was here. So I'm going to move out of the main menu. I'm going to do another recompile quick. And I'll pause while this is recompiling instead of sitting in silence. All right, I said that and it recompiled almost instantly. So we got that. We'll try this again. So we'll hit play. We'll hit load game. There you go. You can see they now don't have the .sav on the end. Default. I'm going to click load. It's going to hit our breakpoint again. So we're going to check our save game to load is default. Is that going to call devload? Did I put devload in there? Yeah, devload game. So let's go back here. Devload game. I'm going to throw a breakpoint there. Resume. Okay, we hit that breakpoint as expected. So let's go to our load game. I'm going to put another breakpoint there just for ease. Hit continue. Ignore changes. Okay, does save game name default? Okay, so it does exist. Main menu. Oh, yes, this is why we don't have that. So all of these save games are defunct. So I'm just going to continue. I'm going to hit back. You can see that there. We're going to click new game. I'm going to hit 7 to save. Hit that a few times just to make sure. I'm going to drop out of there. I can see today's date, August the 13th. I'm going to delete these and just duplicate this a few times. Game 1, game 2, game 3, and then I'm going to just call this one random game name. All right, so we'll do that again. We'll hit play, load game. It hasn't updated. So there's a reason for that, because at a code level, we only call this in 2 places. We call it there and when we've saved the game. So we go back in here, we're going to hit play, new game, save, drop back out, play, load game, still nothing. Okay, why did that not work? That should have worked. New game, save, okay, 10, again, I'll save game names. Yeah, okay, I called executed it. Let's drop out. Pull up our main menu here and throw a breakpoint on construction. Okay, and over. Got a game instance, and our return value is not updating. Okay, I'm going to close out of the edit and do a recompile. We've left this long enough off the live compile. Yeah, man. Close you out while you're not doing it. Okay, stop. Hot reload error. Yeah. Oh, okay. So I'm just going to rebuild and relaunch into the editor now. This may take a moment. It didn't take as long as I wanted. As you can see, like I thought, 5 seconds. So this also, just while this launches up, this gives you guys an idea how to sort of expect things to go. It's like, oh, I figured this whole load game logic originally was going to take half hour, 45 minutes to record a video on. Right now it's an hour and a half, so I'm over twice the amount of time I expected. And honestly, that's not anything extra because I'm recording. That is just because it's taking longer. So I'm just going to quickly open up our persistent map. So we're in there. I'm going to hit play. And we got our breakpoint there. What did we get? We got 5. Okay, default game 1, 2, 3, random game name. Okay, so I'm going to remove this breakpoint because we don't need it. Continue, not step over. Load game. I'm going to a random game name. I'm going to click load. Now, again, that hit another breakpoint for us. Step over. Okay, random game name. Dev load. Hits our code. And then continue there. It'll drop us into this. Save game name. Random game name. Why is all that being skipped? Oh, that's the weird logic. Currently loaded level equals dev map 1. Okay, so level load implementation. I'm just going to continue here, and that should... There we go. But, as you can see, there's one big issue. We still have the UI for that. So, I'm going to hit escape to drop out of that. It's very easy. Right here, we know this path. We're going to be needing to destroy it. So, self, remove from parent. There's no destroy. So, it's not how you do it. As we did before, you do this, you do this. I'm going to get rid of that reroute node because we don't actually need it anymore. And part of the reason for not having things like load screens here is, well, it's just the way I want it right now. Once we get further into development, I'm going to worry about load screens. So we're going to give this one more shot here. I'm going to hit play, load game. I'm going to try game 2 this time. I'm going to hit load. So we have a breakpoint. Let's make sure this is the game 2. I'm going to remove this breakpoint because we don't need it anymore. I'm going to hit play or resume play in editor. Now we are in our code breakpoints. I'm going to get rid of those and that one and that one. And there we go. Now, actually, I'm going to return one code breakpoint here. That one. I'm going to go back in and I'm going to hit 9, our load button. So 9. You can see currently loaded level. Okay, load level implementation. We're going to hit continue. And now I'm going to go through and drop that breakpoint. Just, I wanted to show you guys that that was there. Back in, we're going to go to our level. I hit that breakpoint. Yeah, I did. Okay, so levels. Main menu never got unloaded there. Might have to look at that. But if we hit 9, you can see it sort of has that momentary weirdness. And you can see in our little on-screen logging, found player, existing player, pawn. And that was part of our level setup. So with that though, folks, that is the basics of our load game logic setup. We do still need to add in functionality to delete save games. We also need to add in functionality to bring up a menu in the actual game that allows you to save and load. However, that is something we'll do a little further on. As I mentioned before in the last episode, next episode is going to be a quick episode covering how we want to do, or how to do a full shipping release build. I understand, and I want to be clear, this is not saying this game is ready to ship. Anyone who thought that, or thinks that about their own game when it's in this state, you need to seriously reconsider your understanding of game development. This isn't even something that you would put out as an early access release. This is a tech demo, not even. It's proof of concept. I've just seen far too many shovelware, bloatware, whatever you want to call them, games on Steam that are quite literally asset flips. Basically, they're not even that though. They people, and don't get me wrong, I understand the developers have. Well, I'm hoping the developers have the right intention. They're trying to get it out there early for people to help, but there is such a thing as too early. Anyways, before I start going down this huge rabbit hole about opinion, that's something for an intermission episode. I'm going to end things here, folks. Again, thanks for watching. Any comments, questions, suggestions, concerns, feel free to leave them in the comments below. As I mentioned a couple episodes back, if there's any sort of like small one-off tutorials you want to see done, leave a comment on that. If they don't fit into my project as a whole, I will probably do them as a one-off tutorial at some point when I'm looking for, I don't want to say filler content, but it's content to fill the gap between actual series episodes. If it does fit into the project, I'll leave a comment saying, yeah, it's already something out that I plan on getting. But anyways, folks, again, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.